I'm Jerome Weeks. Puppets and clowns. We associate them with childhood. So what makes a young artist pursue both as a profession? Lake Simons is the daughter of Johnny and Deanne Simons, founders of Fort Worth's Hip Pocket Theater. Simons has become a theater artist in her own right. She just finished a one-woman clown show at the Hip Pocket and has a new show coming up for the annual Cowtown Puppetry Festival. Lake, welcome to Think.
Thank you, Jerome.
Well, given your background, it was natural that you would wind up taking to the stage. But your sister Lorca has become a notable theater actress while you turned to puppetry and clowning. How soon was that difference apparent between the two of you?
Pretty much as we were growing up, we started to be focused in our own ways. It was definitely from theater, obviously, but she started to be more interested in being a stage actress and learning the lines and being a part of that. And I was much more attracted to the movement-oriented side of things and the mime that my father was doing.
You've studied at the famous French School of Clowning, Jacques Lecoq, but you've also worked with the master puppeteer Basil Twist.
Yes.
Why puppetry and clowning?
I think it's just the sort of perfect combination of the two things that I enjoy doing. You know, I did the theater thing for for so many years in my life already. And I've always been interested in puppetry, and my parents collaborated with puppeteers in their work, and so I knew that puppetry was something that could be a really incredible tool in theater. And so when I moved to New York and started to meet people and start to make work there, and when I met Basil, it just sort of all came together in a really beautiful way with him. But then I also missed doing my own, actually being seen on stage as a performer, and started to think back on, oh, what is my background? Oh, I have this physical theater thing that I do, and I wanted to figure out a way to put both of them together.
In fact, although you work as a puppeteer for hire for many people, your own shows, there are these amalgamations of dance, puppetry, commedia, clowning. It's because that you want to put it all together in one piece?
Yeah, absolutely. When I went to the Lecoq School, so much of the work that we do there is about creation. And I have another side of my life that was a set designer. I did that in school. And so creating worlds was something that I was really interested in. And then being able to actually do that with objects and without using words, but through something visual, having a visual poetry and telling the story through that was something that I love, that's very important to me.
Well, in your recent show, Etiquette Unraveled, there were clearly times where you were evoking a young girl at a tea party with her dolls.
Yeah.
There's often that childlike quality to the
yeah,
work.
I find the most important resource that I have is my imagination, and I'm just connected to things that are about making something come to life, making something that's small or large come to life, and just in the simplicity in that, I think that there's a lot to be played with in that world.
You've worked with stick puppets and shadow puppets, as in your current work with the New York Shakespeare in the Park. But most often, from what I've seen, as in the music video, My Brightest Diamond, you manipulate dolls. We can actually see your hand, so there's not the kind of Muppet thing where the hand is hidden.
Right.
Why?
Well, that was a specific choice that the woman who is singing in that video, My Brightest Diamond, Cheryl Warden, she is very excited about puppetry, and she loved the idea of actually being manipulated herself, and so the puppet is of her, and so she liked the idea of seeing not the puppeteer, but wanted to see the puppeteer's hands. And I think that there's something very poignant about the handling of something and the delicacy and seeing something especially small in someone's hands and how they approach it. And I think that's part of, there can be an interesting relationship created between the object and the person operating that object.
It's not something that you normally think of with puppetry. I was sort of surprised in seeing the show that there's no strings, there's no these dolls that you manipulate.
Yeah, and the puppeteer is seen. I mean, with that show specifically, I wanted to figure out, how can I be a puppeteer in this show? Oh, well, I can manipulate these objects all around me. I can find objects and I can move them around and I can turn them into other things. They can be forgotten. They can be picked up again. So it's still puppetry to me. Yeah.
In the same show, Etiquette Unraveled, I was struck because you had a clown nose, and it struck me because I've rarely seen a woman be a clown. They may dress up as a clown for a comedy sketch, or they may be a mime. But to actually put on the clown nose, the baggy pants, that kind of thing, as a defining character is fairly rare. So what's it like being a woman in a clown world?
Oh, it was extremely special for me. It was one of the most challenging roles that I've ever played before, the most challenging performances that I've ever done before, being alone on stage, for one, but also the clown work is something that I picked up when I was studying in France. And it's something I always wanted to do, but I was a little nervous about doing. I didn't quite feel like I was ready to conquer it yet. And that was many years ago, and I suddenly just felt like, okay, I think it's time. I think it's time for me to do some clown work. And I dabbled in it a little bit with some work that I'd done a couple of years ago with my dad. And it just seemed like, okay, it's time. And also, we tried to do the show without the clown nose, and it just didn't, it was having it on, it was almost like wearing a mask, where it allowed me to become these other things, and it made it okay that I was in these imaginary worlds. It sort of gave the audience permission to accept that as well, instead of seeing me as kind of a loony lady.
It's been called, the clown nose has been called the smallest mask.
Yes, that's
and I have
right.
to say,
That's
it
right.
transforms your face.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw you, it was, is that Lake? It really does sort of transform your face.
Yeah, it does an incredible thing, like wearing it, it just kind of, it allows me to become all of these various characters. Yeah.
How did the Cowtown Puppetry Festival come about? Was it a case of your father responding to your interests, or what?
That came about by about 6 years ago when the theater moved locations. There was a big effort on my part to try to be more involved in the theater, because I'd moved away and I'd started my life in New York, and I wanted to be involved again, and I wanted my parents to do more puppetry, and I just wanted to have more of a role within all of that. And I started to bring performers from New York and performances that we were creating, collaborating on in New York, and presenting them, and they were all puppetry oriented. And it was something that my mom decided. She said, I think we should start the Cowtown Puppetry Festival. And so we did. And now it's been an effort to create, like, what is that? It's not just, it can't just be one show. That's not a festival. It has to be at least, a few things. So we've managed to create each year at least 2 things happening within the Cowtown Puppetry Festival. And this year it's the Lowdown Wax show that's coming up, and then the Puppet Pageant, which is something that we've been doing for 6 years now. That's with the whole DFW community. Denton, everybody out there comes and they make puppets, and we put on a show.
So essentially you inflicted this on your parents.
Yes. But they were very happy about it. They were like, great, bring it on.
Very quickly, if you can tell us a little bit about Lowdown Wax.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically the script for it is a CD of music by the Squirrel Nut Zippers. And I've been just happily been given permission to use their music. And so it's choreographed to one of their albums, and it's a just purely visual feast. And I'm reacting to the music itself and just creating things within the music visually. And there's a variety of puppetry that we're using. A lot of it is very hands-on, the kind of handheld things. Some things do have some sticks on them to make it a little bit less with the hands-on, and very physical. All of the performers are very physical, and it's a lot of fun. We're having a really good time making it.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Sure, thank you so much, Jerome.
To read more about Lake Simons, go to artandseek.org. Chris?
Thanks, Jerome. To access our free podcast, go to the Think page of KERA.org. And we'd like to know your thoughts on the show as well. You can send email to think@KERA.org. I'm Chris Boyd. Thanks for being with us, and have a great week.
To learn more, go to KERA.org/think. Think is made possible in part by Dell Services. Dell Services develops and delivers a comprehensive suite of IT and application services, business process solutions, and consulting services designed to help customers succeed. For more information, you can visit dell.com/services. By Southwest Securities, a nationally recognized regional brokerage firm that's been meeting the needs of Southwest investors for more than 30 years. Southwest Securities is a member of the New York Stock Exchange and SIPC. By the Executive Education Center at the University of Texas at Dallas, providing degree and non-degree programs to help corporate professionals and executives stay ahead. on the web at som.utdallas.edu/executive, and by the valued support of KERA members. Thank you.